you that the angels will not come, and this is the cost you have to pay for that. Obviously, this doesn't mean that. It means if you keep dogs in a manner that they are a source of danger for everybody, they are not well trained, then gentlemen would not call on you. Because Malaika in the Holy Quran has also been applied to human beings, gentlemen, good people. So that is what it means. Angels are not afraid of dogs. I mean, they can't do them any harm. Only human angels are afraid of dogs.
Is there any black prophet in the Quran mentioned or in history?
Yes, Hazur Akram sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentions one. Hazrat sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that Kana fil hinde nabiyun aswadul lawne. There was a prophet in India who was black in color. Krishna Kanhaiya is that black prophet. His name contains the meaning, the sense of very dark color, complexion, almost black complexion in fact.
Not what I mean, not being from Africa.
Why not?
From Africa color.
Why not?
I mean, it seems a bit odd.
Pardon?
It seems a bit odd that...
No, it doesn't seem at all. If there were no prophets sent in Africa, that would be odd. Because the Holy Quran categorically states that there is no region of the earth where we have not sent the prophets. No people on earth where we have not sent the prophets. No age in which we have not sent the prophets. So after these categorical statements of the Holy Quran, what would be odd would be if there were no prophets sent to Africa. That would be in contradiction of the clear statements of the Holy Quran. You want to know the name?
Please, everything is there's so many names.
How could I learn a name? I could only learn from the Holy Quran or from the tradition, and they are silent about it. They have just laid down the principle, because had they started mentioning all those prophets by name, the Holy Quran and the tradition, then the list would extend to 124,000 some. So that would be a very long list.
The other question, sir.
Yes, please.
Is there any woman prophet? Or can be a woman prophet?
Pardon?
Is there any woman prophet? Or can a woman be a prophet?
Prophetesses loosely, in loose terms, are known to have appeared in the sense that Allah spoke to them and they foretold some events, but they were not appointed as commissioned officers from Allah. In the Christian terminology, we come across many ladies who are told as being prophetesses. Also in other mythologies, which later on perhaps turned into mythologies, and previously there might have been some substance from which they erupted, they sprang out. Great oracle prophetesses, they are known in history, in every region. But they did not found a religion. They were not founders of religion. They just came as soothsayers, as those who predicted some warnings, gave some glad tidings. And such ladies are even found today. Among Ahmadis I know many ladies to whom Allah speaks, to whom Allah reveals things, and one of the most prominent ones among them is known to everybody, Hazrat Zulfullah Khan Sahib's mother. She was a very pious lady who received revelation from Allah, visions from Allah, dreams that came true. And one lady who was very prominently known in our family was Mirza Rashid Ahmad Sahib late Mr. Rashid Ahmed Sahib's mother. She was known as Phuphi-ji. Although she was the daughter of a very staunch and committed enemy of Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salatu wasalam, Mirza Imam Din. And he was condemned through and through. But Allah draws light from darkness, and she was an example of that. She accepted Ahmadiyya, and she was so pious that I have heard Hazrat Muslim Maud say about her, myself, when I was a child, that of all the ladies that I know, of one I can say positively that Allah speaks to her, and that is that lady. Her dreams came true, she saw visions very often, and also Allah spoke to her verbally. So that happens. If you call that prophetess in the loose term, that's all right, but not that according to Islamic terminology of the Prophet. That is commissioned officer. Maybe in the loose terms, ulama ummati, there are also such ladies.
Is a woman inferior to man?
No. The office is too sturdy and too difficult and too onerous. The duties which are attributed to a prophet are so heavy that the ladies cannot perform them. They are not built for that. As I mentioned once before, there are beasts of burden of different quality and different capacity. You can't load every beast of burden equally, because they are made up for certain purposes. So if there is definitely a difference between the constitution of man and a woman, then of course the responsibilities would differ as well. You can't say there is no difference between the constitution, between the general behavior of the two. In the general framework of human beings, they do differ, don't they?
But spiritually, we should be the same, woman and man.
How? Spiritually they are the same, but responsibilities are different. When you throw responsibilities, you can't expect something from a weaker sex. Weaker in the sense that they are built for a different purpose, and at times they would not be able to discharge their duties. And they would also be weak in many respects. For instance, you would never hear a man being raped by a woman. Why not? If they are equal in everything, because there is constitutional difference. So she can't defend herself in such situations. She can be forced, while men cannot be forced. So how could Allah make a prophet, commissioned prophet from among women, where their chastity could be violated by force? This is just one example. There's so many. Difference is there. Very obvious constitutional difference is there, but we don't have to go into details of comparison. It is a pity upon them that they are not made prophets, not a reflection upon them. Wa alaikum salam, rahmatullah.
This question is on behalf of another lady. She wants to ask, could you please define taqwa?
That I have already done so many times, and still it will not be exhausted. Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salatu wasalam has written so much on this, that of all the Islamic scholars, I think if you combine all their explanations of taqwa on one side, and collect Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salatu wasalam's disposition on this on the other, this would, I think, would be larger in number. He has so much spoken on taqwa and so much written about it. You better read the books.
Hazum, I have two peculiar questions to ask. The first is...
Everybody now has started with tools.
But I would like to...
You have left a good tradition behind, Mr. Rashid. Yes, please.
When Hazur was elected Khalifatul Masih, Hazur said, in his first